Hey guys, Pitch here, and today I want to talk about the weapon progression if you're going to play a Carrion Golem or a stacking build. There are 3 stages, and we're going to go through them right now. Enjoy the video. So the first phase is probably really familiar to you. It's to pick up 2 clay shapers as soon as possible in the campaign. The reason we use these is because it gives you +1 to maximum number of golems per clay shaper. So these alone give you 2 golems. The Summon Carrion Golem gem itself gives you 1 golem, and you pick up the 4th golem by speccing to Golem Commander either in the skill tree or picking up an amulet or talisman that has this anointed already. I picked up a talisman, a corrupted talisman that had this anointed for about 3 chaos as early as possible as I could in the campaign, and I was still using that in tier 16s. So just having that extra golem is really powerful. That will give you 4 golems, and that will carry you well into maps. Okay, so to move on to phase 2, which is running cold iron points, we're going to need to introduce the Primordial Jewels into the build. And it all revolves around this, the Anima Stone. So you see it gives +1 to maximum golems on its own, and then you get +1 maximum golems if you have 3 Primordial Jewels socketed. And that can be any 3 Primordial Jewels, it doesn't need to be one of each. So if I activate mine, I have an Eminence, a Harmony, and another Eminence. So those 3, plus the Anima Stone, that gives me 2 extra golems. You can see, because we still have the clay shapers activated, that gives us 6. What that allows us to do is swap out the clay shapers for my cold iron points. We're back down to 4, and the DPS has changed from 5 million to 9 million. So a huge DPS boost from activating these. Just to talk about the Anima Stone itself, you have 2 ways to get it. One is to buy it from trade, and the other one is to vendor one of each of the Primordial Jewels. So 1 Primordial Harmony, 1 Primordial Eminence, and 1 Primordial Might. Vendor those 3 and you will get an Anima Stone. So whichever one works out the cheapest for you. Phase 2 is where most builds will stop. And I mean, that's really respectable damage. But if, like me, you want to push this build as far as you possibly can, you want to invest all the currency that you've been making, then there is a 3rd stage, which we're going to touch on now. It's not an easy stage, it's going to cost you time, it's going to cost you money, but it exists, and that's the point of the video. So swap out the cold iron points now. We see we're on 9 million per golem. That's Sirus DPS, by the way. And we put in instead these 2 convoking ones. That jumps from 9 million up to 12.5 million. Now, these aren't easy to get hold of, but with Harvest it makes it a little bit easier. So to begin crafting this wand, you're going to need a level 84 convoking wand. Once you have that, pick up some prime resonators. They're the 4 socket resonators, and in them you want to slot a jagged fossil, a shuddering fossil, corroded fossil, and a metallic fossil. Slam that resonator into the wand, and what you're hoping for is this. Now, this is T1, so don't get too hooked up on the numbers. If you get anything that looks like this, you've hit gold. If you end up with something that looks like this but has more suffixes, then you're going to have to either annul or harvest remove them off. Your base needs to look exactly like this with no other mods. If you fail with the annulment or the harvest remove, then you start again until you end up with this. The next step is to go to your crafting station and craft on cannot roll caster modifiers. Once you've done that, pick up a Redeemer's Exalted Orb and slam it into the wand. And you'll have a 1 in 4 chance of hitting the auras from your skills grant damage to you and your allies. If you don't hit that, then it's back to harvest, and you're going to be looking for primal blister fruits, where you can remove a random influence modifier from an item and add a new influence modifier. And that's the one that you need to keep rinse repeating until you hit auras from your skills grant. Once you hit that, then you can remove your cannot roll caster modifier's crafted mod and manually craft on the trigger mod that you see here. That's it. That's your GG wand. 2 of those, and the damage boost, as you can see, goes from 9 million per golem to 12.5 million per golem, which is 50 million Sirus DPS. So there you go. That's the end game weapon for this build. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to see more content like this, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.